Hey, it's Coach Caleb of Empowerment Essentials Nutrition Coaching Program, the program that is responsible for delivering health transformations through three key phases: wellness restoration, nutrition enhancement, and results maintenance. Over the next 50 minutes, you're going to get an in depth overview of the first part of that program covering wellness restoration. This includes the four pillars to wellness, understanding the problem areas within each pillar of wellness, going over some tips and pointers about how to fix and restore your wellness, and finally some pointers on how you can get started on your own with improving your wellness. As if that wasn't enough, I have a free wellness assessment you can take to help you take all the guesswork out of identifying those problematic areas. I know you're going to receive a lot of value over the next 50 minutes with this content, and be sure to stick around until the end for a special offer. All right, so can you all see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so tonight we'll be discussing the four keys to restoring your energy and wellness. So I kind of gave my vision for my business and what we accomplished. And tonight you have a special treat because I'm going over one of the first phases as a part of my nutrition program. So we really get to, break down and get into the details of how to improve our wellness. So I'm excited to talk about that tonight. So, a little bit about me. Again, I'm a registered dietitian. I first had my upbringing with WIC. So you may be familiar with the WIC program, the Women, Infants, and Children. That's where I first got my feet wet with nutrition and health. Through that program, working there for 4+ years, I was able to help hundreds of families with small children and help them improve their health for their family. And the way I did this was through motivational interviewing and nutrition counseling. So after doing that for about 4 years, I decided I want to grow my impact. And that's when Empowerment Essentials was born. And so that took off, and I've been able to help people transform and take control of their health through wellness, through nutrition, and doing that in a holistic, sustainable way. There's lots of different methods out there. You probably, if I could give you $1 for every diet you need, you guys would probably all walk with at least $20 because there's lots of different diets out there. There's low carb, there's keto, there's Atkins, there's paleo, there's a lot of like restrictive diets that are out there, different supplement pills and, surgeries. The success that my clients are able to get, they're able to get that without, cutting out their favorite foods and having to follow a strict diet. So you're able to enjoy your food, enjoy your life, and also get on to, transform your health to do what God has called for you to do in your life. So that's been a really transformative part of me starting my business and being able to have that impact in individuals' lives. So next we have our outline for this. We'll just go over why wellness is important to us, why wellness and energy are important for health. And so those four keys are the optimizing sleep, honoring our hunger cues, managing stress, maintaining physical activity. So those are our four keys that we'll be looking a lot further into. And then I'm a person of action. So God called us to be people of action. And so it's not just having information, you have to act on the information. And so we're going to go over a little bit about how you can get started with changing your health and improving your health. After that, we'll go over some nutrition coaching solutions and answer questions. So please try to hold some of the questions until the end. They may get answered along the way. You can feel free to put them in the chat section. That way you don't forget. I'm very much a forgetful person. If I don't write it down, it's almost like it didn't happen. So be sure to put that in the chat section. All right. So importance of wellness. So when we look at wellness, it's a combination of your physical and mental health. All the areas of wellness are connected to each other. And so if your mental health is off, it's going to impact your physical health and vice versa. So you may feel run down physically or emotionally, and it has a toll on how you feel overall. And so with wellness and putting our emphasis on improving our wellness, it's going to help to protect us from the different harmful effects of letting those things go on for prolonged periods of time. The different areas that can be affected, of course, we're looking at our energy, performance, our mood, sleep, sex drive, our overall health. And so taking care of yourself physically in those ways help to protect you overall. But that's the what, but what's the how? So how do we support our wellness? So we have our different wellness pillars. And these wellness pillars go to support good health by overall keeping the foundation steady. So when I explain this to everyone, I look at wellness as like the pillars, the foundation of supporting good health. If you don't have, good sleep, if you're not honoring your hunger cues, if you are not managing your stress properly, and if you're not staying active, the negative effects can overrun your life and lead you to some of the chronic diseases that my program looks to help prevent. Okay, so the first pillar is sleep. So when we're looking at sleep, we're looking at not just the quantity of sleep. Most people say, hey, try to get 8 hours of sleep. But we're not just looking at quantity, we're looking at quality too. And we're looking at factors that impact you being able to fall asleep and stay asleep longer. When you have your sleep pillar, all the way 100%, you're going to be helping yourself to prevent, chronic illnesses like dementia or type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, different types of cancers, even offsetting or preventing obesity. So sleep is very important. Do not overlook sleep. And actually, this is a part of my program that we start with first because it's that important. Your nutrition will not make as much difference if your sleep is off. So I'll just leave that there and we'll keep moving. The next area we have is honoring your hunger cues. So when we look at this pillar, we're looking at not just the timely response of hunger. So when you feel hungry, are you feeding yourselves? But how much are you eating? Is it the right composition, the right food choices? So again, when you don't honor your hunger cues and you're in that food deprivation state, it can impact your memory and it can impact your concentration, cause different nutrient deficiencies. It can impact your blood sugars. If you're not eating and you don't have enough blood in your bloodstream, it can impact your performance. There needs to be a certain level of blood in the bloodstream so the cells cannot take them for energy. And then when you're always in a hunger state, it's going to put your body in like a perpetual stress response. So again, as I'm going through these different pillars, if you're experiencing some of these things, you can start to connect them. Okay, our third pillar that we'll look at is stress management. So being aware of what triggers you, that's definitely important. And also, how are you dealing with stress? Are you coping in a healthy way or an unhealthy way? Stress is very, 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 very important. If you do not manage your stress properly, it could disrupt your weight loss efforts, increase your blood pressure, increase blood sugar, lead to depression. It can also compromise your immune system. You don't even have to say the buzzword, the hot word right now, but that can definitely help you to have a better protection against like different illnesses when you manage your stress. It can also disrupt your sleep too. And the other thing I'd like to point out is that with these pillars, I'm not sure if I said this, but they're all connected. One will definitely impact the other. All right, and then our fourth and final wellness pillar is joyful movement. So I say joyful movement because I think it's more inclusive of different types of activity. Usually you'll hear exercise or physical activity or working out. Joyful movement just incorporates a lot more. So if you like to garden, that gardening activity, you moving your body will be included. So when we're looking at exercise, physical activity, we're looking at the type of exercise. So whether it's aerobic or non-aerobic, basically cardio versus strength training, you're looking at the intensity and you're looking at the duration of that activity as well. And physical activity has lots of good health effects. So again, you can fight off different heart diseases. You can help to regulate your blood pressure, high cholesterol, even help to manage diabetes. So lots of good health effects, lots of good health benefits from joyful movement. All right, so now we're getting to the parts where we're all going to participate and go over these health pillars, because it's kind of boring if I just go over, well, here's sleep and here's what's good, and that's kind of boring. Hopefully we're gonna have some bold people with us tonight, and you'll unmute yourself and talk with me and we'll go over this. But basically what I want you to do over these next 3 scenarios is, 1, I want you to find or spot the main problem that person is having, and 2, I want you to spot the related symptoms / concerns with that problem. So hopefully everyone is up for the activity and engaging. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'll read the prompt or the scenario, then we'll go from there. So let's take a peek into Cynthia's life. So Cynthia is a married mother of 2 school-age children and works full-time at a marketing firm. She's up early to get the kids to school on time and have enough time to beat morning traffic. She is usually tired by mid-morning, and and her energy usually wavers throughout the day. Sometimes coffee helps, but she doesn't drink it daily. She is in and out of meetings, but mostly works at her desk all day. When Cynthia gets home, she gets dinner going. She makes sure the kids finish their schoolwork. After cleaning up from dinner, she winds down by spending 2 to 3 hours on Facebook and Instagram and watching TV. It's hard to fall asleep and stay asleep when it's time to get rest. Cynthia doesn't feel well rested in the morning. So, what is Cynthia's main problem? What's going on with Cynthia?
Is she eating breakfast?
Yeah, no eating. A
Okay.
nutritional breakfast would give her energy to start their day.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, sorry, go ahead.
Not enough sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hearing she's not eating enough and it's messing with her energy, and she's not getting enough sleep, and I'm just going to assume that you're relating that to energy also. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Exercise. Bless you. Exercise.
Okay. And lack of exercise, but you guys are a sharp crew. So let's go ahead and look at these red flags that you so expertly identified here. So you're right. So she's struggling with poor energy, and you mentioned some of the things that are connected to that. You mentioned sleep. You mentioned lack of exercise. Another area could be the untimely screen time. So this is a big one. I always start here with my clients because we have so many blue lights coming from everywhere, tablets, TVs, you name it. It's a stimulus and it's telling us to stay awake. So all these different things will impact our sleep and our ability to stay asleep and get the quality sleep that we need to feel restful, to feel rejuvenated in the morning. So great identifying, guys. Great investigative work. So let's look at the tips that Cynthia can use to help improve her energy. So the solutions for better energy, we'll start with improving rest.
Mhm.
The goal is to try to get at least 8 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
Cynthia, if she were to get 8 hours of sleep, that will go a long way into her feeling better in the morning. And she can also have good energy for the whole day. She did
Mhm.
rely on caffeine, and caffeine, it has health benefits, but you don't want it to be a crutch. You
Yeah.
need to have caffeine every day for energy. You should be able to have a good natural burst of energy that should take you out
But it don't.
throughout most of the day, so you can kind of have a natural wind down period. My bonus tip for improving your rest is, if you can in the morning, try to get morning sunlight. There's research that shows there's a part of the brain that when you get the rising sunlight, it sets your clock, your internal clock for uh, getting better sleep in the evening when you're ready to wind down. So if you can, try to get at least 2 to 10 minutes of morning sunlight, and that'll help with your rest. The other tip that Cynthia can use to get better energy, also better sleep, is limiting her screen time right before bed. Now, I don't want you to raise your hand because we might all telling ourselves, but who all uses their TVs, tablets, cell phones, computers right up into the time they put their head in the bed? I don't have my little pictures on the side, so I can't see everyone like nodding their head yes, but I see Sharon raise her hand like, that's me, guilty. We all do it. It's okay. I've even done it. It's just one of those things. It's the world. But if you can try to set boundaries and have a moderate usage of that, especially within that last hour of falling asleep, it'll help tremendously with not only falling to sleep, but staying asleep longer. Another bonus tip here, if you can make your room as dark as possible, that will help, because even when you're asleep and your eyes are closed, you can still sense light, and sometimes the light can be distracting and even disrupt your sleep. So if you can make your room as dark as possible, also cooler temperatures also help with better sleep. Your body usually likes to fall asleep at the lower temperature, whatever your temperature zone is. It usually likes to fall asleep at the lower end. So having a cooler temperature may help with you staying asleep longer and falling asleep faster. Okay, so Cynthia can use those two tips. And then the last thing for energy, I tell this to everyone, and I tell them it takes energy to make energy. So get moving. I think I heard someone say that before, but yeah, definitely get moving. If you feel a little low in your energy, go for a quick walk. Go for a 5-minute power walk and get your body moving. Then your body's going to actually start creating energy that you need to get going throughout the day. So these
Miss,
are, oh, go ahead.
I have a question that nobody, I guess I might have been the only one picked up on this because I'm probably the oldest one on this line. You said that, what's her name, Cynthia?
Yes.
And you said Miss Cynthia was married, is what I read.
Yes.
Well, can she ask her husband to help her with some of this stuff? Ain't
Yeah,
nobody
of
saying
course.
nothing about help.
Exactly.
She
She
didn't
can.
make them babies by herself. You was talking real talk now. Come on. That's going to help her with her rest. It's going to help her with her screen time. It's going to
Yes.
help her to get moving when he take them babies to school. Let
Yeah.
her rest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you got a maid in there made them babies, come on, bro. You ain't gonna. I don't get me wrong. I ain't got nothing against men,
Oh, no,
but
no, no.
you
I
you
work
you need
for
to
I
help with these
work
kids.
I work for a WIC, and I tell the moms, you can't do it all by yourself. And I know you can, but it'll help you for your health if you can do it as a partner,
Yeah,
or if you have family. Sometimes you don't, you may not have the partner. So if you have family that's
right.
able, they're
Yeah,
willing, accept the help, because sometimes um, I'm not sure if it's, I don't know why. I don't want to assume anything, but a lot of times I've seen where it's like, well, I'll just do it myself, and that's a strong trait to have. That's actually something that I admire, is like, you just want to do it all. But to help yourself with longevity, having good health, teamwork makes the dream work. So you have to
you
involve
got
your
that
partner
right.
and family, and you can get, you know, you can get the,
Yeah,
all the things accomplished if you're working together. So
That's
thank
right.
you for bringing that up. No one else brought that up. I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting that one. That was a
I'm
little
old
bit of
school. Yeah. Okay,
I
but thank you.
I get you 100%. So
Can we also
um
talk about how phones now have blue light blockers that
yes.
we can potentially look into? Because I know my Samsung does, and I have that on even during the day. Now that I've gotten used to
Mm,
using, it's called an eye comfort shield on the
yes.
Samsung. So I have that on even during the day. Having that on
Okay.
even fullness now, it like hurts my eyes. I can now see
Mm,
how too bright like some phones can be, like the
mm,
contrast, the color, the brightness. So they have that. And last time I spoke to somebody else who had an Apple phone, they said that their phone has a blue light blocker thing on there as well.
yes. That blue light filters, if your devices have them, my suggestion, this is only a suggestion, is I would encourage using the blue light filter up to like when the sun's going down and up to times leading up to going to bed. And the reason why is because during the day you actually need like the stimulus from light, so your brain stays on the circadian clock, the circadian rhythm that it's on. If you're not getting that blue light or the sunlight, you may be kind of confusing your circadian rhythm, for lack of like better
Gotcha.
explanation. But those are great tools to use, and I would recommend using them leading up to like your wind down period. So like as the sun's setting, you should also like decrease your light usage. That's what I would suggest. But that was a great point to bring up. Awesome. Well, you guys are very. I like the discussion we're having, and we'll just keep it going.
Can I add something real fast that I noticed that
Yeah.
I'm trying to train myself against is being intentional about like for those of us who do have to go to the office, it's not good to take your lunch at your desk. Or like the breaks, take breaks, get out if you can, if the weather permits, and take a little walk and get away from your work environment. Because if
Mhm.
you're sitting there all day long and like so busy and you eat a salad at your desk or you know what I mean, that's why you have to like really take your lunch.
Mhm.
It's really important.
Yes, that's super important too. Don't work through your lunch. Take that, and that's actually a good segue. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a really good segue into our next scenario for Nathan. So
Oh,
let's
can I
go.
say something too?
Yeah.
Because I don't do this, and I found out it works. It's only so much you get done at work, and I don't bring my work home. That's another no-no with me.
Okay.
I don't know what everybody else think about it, but I get so much done during the day, pace myself, take my lunch, take my break. But bringing work home, sometimes you gotta look at the computer. It just goes beyond really resting, and then your mind's not resting when you finally decide to go to sleep.
Right. You have too much stimulus. Like your mind's constantly
Activity,
thinking.
yeah.
You're probably even dreaming about work if that's what you're doing. So yeah, it's good to have those boundaries from work, and it's an unfortunate thing. I even deal with it at my job. It's especially in certain areas, they almost expect you to work even when you're not supposed to be working and just get work done. It's all about work, but it's important to have those boundaries so you can maintain your own personal wellness and personal health, or else you'll just work yourself right on to not having good health, right onto death. I mean, we don't want that. So I always tell people, take care of number one, that's you. And when you take care of number one, you can take care of everything else. So I don't want to take up too much time on this scenario. I do want to keep it going. I know we try to end by 8, and I want to leave enough time for questions at the end. So um, let's see. So Nathan is newly married to his longtime partner, Tasha. After graduating college, he found a job in IT with a startup company in the city. The company is new, which means he puts in several 40-plus hour weeks at work. He doesn't mind because the extra money will go towards finance goals. Nathan usually skips eating in the morning due to being in a rush to get to work. He eats whatever is available in the break room at work. Sometimes there's catered food, or sometimes it's only snacks. Feelings of hunger come and go, but Nathan puts off eating until later and continues working. He feels sluggish for the rest of the day after eating a big lunch and or big dinner after work. He reports feeling nauseous, having low/poor moods, difficulty concentrating, and making unhealthy food choices. So, what is Nathan's main problem?
It's diet, I think.
Okay, so uh, sorry, I'm gonna mess up saying your name. Is it
Julie.
Julie? Julie says it's diet. Okay,
Not enough nutrition.
not enough nutrition. I like it. I like you guys are right on it.
The way he
So
worked. The way
where
he worked.
the way he works. Well, how does he work?
He works and over a lot of overtime, no boundaries.
Right. And we're just talking about that. So he's not honoring his body's need for fuel. He's not, sticking to a diet that's suitable for him. So what are some of the other like red flags that you've seen? So we identified that it's related to, skipping meals. What are some of the effects or symptoms that you're seeing?
Mood swing, tiredness,
Right. He's tired, sluggish.
irritability.
Irritability.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. You guys, again, you all are on it. You guys are sharp. So let's look at these red flags a little bit closer. So of course, the main problem is that he's ignoring his hunger cues. I think this is another one where we can all, if I ask you all to raise your hand and tell yourself, there's at least one time, maybe even this week, it's only Monday. I don't know, has it started? Have we ignored our hunger cues? I don't know. But when you do ignore your hunger cues, it makes it really difficult to concentrate. It makes it really difficult to push yourself through the day. Um, a lot of people do it regardless. I'm not sure like how they're doing it, but somehow they're able to do it. But the one of the big things, and I'll point this out because I feel like this is a pretty common goal, is a lot of people that I work with, they want to lose weight and eat better. And so when I ask them, well, are you honoring your hunger cues? They usually tell me something like Nathan tells me, where he's working a lot and he's not eating when he's hungry. And so I just have them start by setting themselves up for success and honoring their hunger cues so they can begin to feel better and make better food choices. Because usually the food choice you make after kind of starving yourself for a long time, do you think it's the best food choice you can make? I mean, I'll tell you, for me, I like a good burger. Nothing wrong with the burger, but there's probably some extra things I get with that burger that I probably would have not have made versus if I ate in my window of hunger. So that's the takeaway message here, because you can avoid a lot of things. You can avoid feeling sluggish, tired, the bad food choices. If you're feeling nauseous, it could be due to not eating. So this is another common one. So an empty stomach is nausea's best friend. Remember that. So if you have a little something, that's better than nothing. But ideally, you want to nourish yourself enough. And I see Sharon has her hand raised.
Yes. So you're saying, so what if you don't have a hunger cue and you skip breakfast? I mean, what if you're just not hungry? Do you still make yourself eat something?
It depends. So that one is kind of I would have to dig a little bit more to see what's going on, because sometimes that happens when you've gone so long doing a thing a certain way, your body gets used to it. And so I've seen that in times where, someone just they usually skip breakfast and they've done that forever. And so your body is a very adaptive creation. It's going to adjust to whatever you throw at it. And so if you're constantly doing that, your body's going to adjust to not needing the nutrition or not giving you that signal that it needs nutrition. Overall, I would look at your intake for the entire day. And so if you're meeting your needs for the entire day, that's more important than just like saying you have to eat at a scheduled time. but there are instances where having scheduled time to eat is beneficial just because your day is so busy.
You know, sometimes when I'm not hungry in the morning, I'll drink a little smoothie.
Okay, yeah, and that's smoothies are a good route to go. Another area that I usually focus on is making sure that like the first things you're doing in the morning, usually I recommend getting water.
Water.
So I would say get at least 16 ounces of water in the morning.
Right.
And then after that, if you can, again, go outside and get a little sun, and you can do that with getting a little walk around the yard, walk around the porch, just get like 2 to 10 minutes of sunlight. So now you have like this physical activity going. That's going to increase these feel good hormones. And then after that, I would encourage like including a breakfast that has like good gut health, like nutrients. So that can help, like oatmeal. You can do Greek yogurt. You can do. I had one client, she's doing like cottage cheese, and those are for like gut health nutrients. So that can be a way to help set yourself up for success. And the other reason I mention those things, having good gut health helps to improve your mood. So it can help like fight off like depression and different things. If your gut health is out of whack, your mood will also be impacted. So doing those 3 things that I mentioned, that's a bonus tip. That is something that can improve your mental health. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into some of those solutions for honoring your hunger cues. So I'm not sure, can you raise your hand if you've heard of that term before, like honoring your hunger cues? So Shamika has heard of it. I'm trying to see.
I think Shamika had her hand up prior
Oh,
for a question.
Yeah, had a question. Sometimes I can't tell. I'm because I'm a bit of a stress eater. So I can't tell if it's a hunger or if it's just routine. Like I want to get up, I want to eat. I don't overeat. I eat 2 meals a day or 3 maybe, but I just think sometimes I wonder, like, am I really hungry or is it just a pleasure food and I'm got a lot on my mind or I got a lot of stress in the workday? So how can you really tell when it's like a hunger?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like when your body needs substances versus you just want to eat something out of pleasure, an ice cream or whatever.
I would say trace it back to, like, if you can trace it back to a triggering event. And so if it's caused by stress or some type of like anxiety inducing situation, you should be able to trace that back to something. For instance, I'm working with like a college student, and she's in this very difficult A session. So it's like a condensed course, and she was able to pinpoint that some of her eating choices were related to the stress from her class. And so once we identified that the stress had caused that, we then worked on different, stress management, strategies that she can use to offset that. And so once that was implemented, she was able to tell the difference between, okay, like this is hunger for like nourishment, like my body's actually requiring nutrition, versus this like hunger for coping. So you have to kind of do a little bit of investigating and do a little bit of an assessment to see like what your root cause is. But you can also so some of these tips will definitely help. And so like listening to your cues, being aware of your body's natural hunger window. And so like when the hunger happens, are you even hearing the call? Are you ignoring it? What's going on there? So the first key is like awareness and listening. After that, it's the appropriate response of nutrition. And I'll say here, because I see a lot of this on Instagram, people will take their camera, they take the picture of the really nice bowl of food, and it's like all these vegetables, and they're like, and maybe there's some fruits, and they're like, this is my meal. And I'm wondering, I asked them in the comments, I'm like, how do you feel after that meal? and they'll say, oh, I felt okay. I probably could have used a little bit more protein, or probably could have used a little bit more, fat or fiber or something. And so that's the other component, is making sure the composition of your meal is balanced. So having enough protein, having enough healthy fats, not just, the low carb, even carbs. That's another big area. I see a lot of the pictures and there's no carbs, and I'm wondering, you need carbs for energy. They're not bad. Carbs are your friends. They are your brain food, literally. Your brain prefers carbs to work. And so if you're depriving yourself of those foods you thought, I can go without them, that could be what's causing your mental sluggishness or your mental difficulty to concentrate. So make sure the composition of your meal is balanced to include all those things. And you'll feel the difference. Your body will let you know. You'll feel the energy. You'll feel good. And also, you want to do that in a timely manner. The sooner you do it to the window when you start to feel the hunger, the better. And so this just popped into my mind. Now, I used to help moms, breastfeeding moms and formula feeding moms, and we go over the hunger cues for the baby, for the child. Like, okay, how does the baby tell you when they're hungry? Well, the baby's crying, maybe their fists are balled up, and their joints are really tight and tough. Maybe they're smacking their lips, they're rooting. And so those are the signs that they're hungry. But say, okay, when you're as an adult, I find it routinely going on that they just ignore the window of hunger, and they just kind of override that. So don't override it. When you feel yourself getting a little hangry, a little cranky, have you a snack. And the way you can plan ahead or anticipate is you can make snacks ahead of time. You can cook dinner for multiple servings. A lot of times people will struggle with this one because they're like, man, I have to get home and cook. So if you just make dinner for 2 or double the servings or triple the servings, you spend the same amount of time cooking, but the food goes longer. Or maybe meal prepping or having snacks ahead of time. Most likely, your schedule from day to day. So use that to your advantage. Use that to plan to have the proper nutrition for yourself. So those are the tips there. Also, I apologize if I don't see the questions coming in. So if I miss them, please feel free to unmute yourself. I can only see so much on my screen right now. So just unmute yourself if you have any questions. Okay, you guys getting a lot out of this? Is this helpful?
Yes, sir.
very
Thank
helpful.
you.
All right. So we were in our last scenario, and we're going to look at Diana and look at what's going on with Diana's life here. Okay, so Diana is a web designer. She lives by herself and has a serious partner of 3 years. She spends most of her day on the computer, and she enjoys what she does. However, her boss is demanding and micromanages projects, which causes anxiety for Diana. She really dislikes her work environment and wishes it would change. Most times, Diana prefers to be left alone, whether on or off the clock. Lately, she has been turning down dates with her partner due to frequent headaches and illnesses. Diana prefers being at home laying in bed watching her favorite TV shows. She knows she should exercise but lacks motivation. Sometimes it's difficult to concentrate and recall things. What is, and this one, there's 2 in this one, so I want to see if you can spot them, but what is going on with Diana? What are her problems?
Lack of motivation.
Okay, so you have lack of motivation.
Probably that she doesn't have a work-life balance.
Okay, no work-life balance. Okay, I want you
No
to think
fun.
about, what was that, Rose?
No fun.
No fun, right?
Yep,
She's
doesn't like
not
a
having
job.
fun at work.
Yeah.
She could have a little symptoms of depression if you are going to a job where you don't
Okay,
like on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And what would you call that? Like if she's not having fun, she doesn't like it, what would you call that? Like think about the pillars.
I forgot.
Not managing her stress well.
Yes. So all the things that you all mentioned, I would put that under the category of poor stress management. And there's one other one, and someone mentioned a related point. So someone said she lacks motivation,
Mhm.
and what was the other thing that she said before that?
Is it
That she
exercise?
doesn't get enough exercise.
All right, so that's the other wellness pillar is the exercise, the joyful movement. One of the red flags of exercise is if you don't have the motivation. Sometimes that's it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg. Sometimes like, well, I don't go to the gym or I don't exercise because I don't have the motivation. But sometimes the motivation or the inspiration can actually come from working out. So, but her two main problems are stress and sedentary lifestyle slash, lacking the physical activity. And so she's very stressed from work. You all mentioned that she's not having fun. She she also prefers isolation. That's another one. She's preferring to be alone and kind of like antisocial. Now there's some people that they're just naturally they like to be alone. They actually operate better that way, but she's actually turning down dates with her partner to be by herself. She's also sick. She's having poor moods, headaches, difficulty concentrating. And so with poor stress management, again, with the stress management and with physical activity, it can help to improve your immune system. It can also help to improve your mood. So by not having those things in a line or in balance, you're going to suffer in these areas listed here. So great job. You all are a stellar crew. I'm going to say that you guys are a stellar crew. You guys are running on all cylinders. So let's take a look into the solutions for stress, and then we'll do physical activity later. So one of the solutions for stress, one thing that Diana can do is start doing some relaxation exercises. One of my favorites is breathing exercises. I'll be honest, before I came on, I was a little nervous. I have some nervous energy before getting in front of strangers, and hopefully people I can connect with later, but the nervousness just gets going. And so what did I do? I did my breathing exercises during the prayer and during the song, which was very, very beautiful. I was able to just meditate on the words of the prayer and the words of the song and take my mind off of myself. Usually when you're concentrating on yourself, I don't know, something about concentrating yourself for a long period of time, it kind of brings up that anxiety. So, thinking about others, doing things for others, meditating, finding relaxing hobbies. Sometimes I like to, draw. I used to draw. Playing drums used to be one of my expressive, relaxing hobbies. So if you can think of something that works for you, as far as like a relaxing hobby, implement that so you can start to manage your stress. The next thing would be to journal. So it's very effective to write down your feelings. It's I forget, I think it was either Shamika or Sharon. I apologize if I'm mixing this up, but someone had recalled, oh, like if your hunger was related to stress. And so a good practice is like when you're journaling, it allows you to reflect.
Yeah.
And so you can actually use this as a tool to pinpoint what's causing, your triggers, what's causing your stress. If you're still feeling stressed after you're journaling, go for a wellness walk. That's what I like to call them. I go for wellness walks a lot at work because sometimes they like to try my patience or help me grow my patience. I'll frame it in a more positive way. They're helping me grow my patience. So I go for lots of wellness walks at work so I can continue to grow my patience. I see the laughing across the screen here. Y'all must have a really fun boss too. I know this is being recorded, but I stand by what I say. I have my contact information at the end. You can You can reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm just kidding. But yeah, go on that wellness walk. It's really helpful. And I'll leave it at that. Oh, okay. I see a hand. Sharon. Oh, is it in the chat?
No,
I
that was
think
just
they was
clapping.
clapping.
That's a
Oh, it was a
clapping.
clap. Oh, I did. I missed the little waves. Okay. All
Can I
right.
say
So,
something? May I
of
say
course.
something? When you don't get exercise, you get sluggish, and that kind of locks you up. And that would cause depression and different body changes too, if you're not regular. Does that make sense?
Could you provide a little bit more detail?
Like, exercise, moving, eating the proper food, you regulate your body for your bowels. Because when you don't go like you should, that can cause depression and other things within your body.
Yes, that is, I mean, that's literally toxic, the stuff that you're
Yeah.
waiting to release. So if you can't get rid of it, I mean, that's going to affect how you feel. Increasing your physical activity, such as you said, Rose, that increases your motility and the traffic down there. It's like I'm from Phoenix. I hate the traffic down there. And so it's like going from that jam, bumper to bumper traffic to something like out in the rural area where it's like open roads and you can see a driver every so often. You can wave and say hi. That's what you want your digestive system to kind of be like. Bonus tips here. I think I've seen someone raise your hand. Don't forget your question. Bonus tip: fiber. And then we already mentioned water. So if you can get, there's lots of different recommendations. You probably heard the 8 ounce cups a day. You probably heard that one. You probably heard drink your weight divided by 2 in ounces, or the calories you need per day in liters or milliliters. There's all different kinds, but make sure that you stay hydrated. It keeps everything running smoothly. And the other thing that can help is getting good fiber intake. Fiber is really important. Typically, in an average American diet, we're severely under under our goals for fiber intake. For women, I believe it's 27 grams of fiber. I just rounded up and say 30, but it's 27 grams of fiber a day, and that will definitely help things get moving, along with exercise that you mentioned. So, and then I think Jolie had her hand up, or was that a clap? Maybe.
I don't think I have my hand up. Sorry if I.
Okay, sometimes the windows change, and so I may have missed it. But if you had a question, feel free to unmute yourself at any time. All right. So speaking of wellness walks, we'll go over to the physical activity / joyful movement side of things. So first, you need to find your reason, your motivation, your why for being healthy. Are you doing this for your family? Doing this, to be in your kids' lives for longer? Are you doing this so you can travel more? Are you doing this so you can, have a better quality of life? Like, what is your why? Sit down, really figure that out. That's the most important place to start because, again, with my program and the way I try to teach people is to do things in a sustainable way. And sustainable is a fancy word for it may take a while, but it's going to last long, more than the quick shortcut methods that are out there that don't last as long. But when you have your reason for, doing what you're doing, it makes it a lot easier to do this. And again, just to make it come full circle, what I see myself as not just a nutritionist that's going to help you with, eating right, but it's like nourishment for your mind, body, and soul to help you on the way to fulfilling your purpose that God gave you. So if you have a calling in your life, you have something that you're born to do, which all of you here tonight, there's something that, God has purposed you to do. Think of that purpose as your why for keeping healthy and being healthy. Then make sure you have fun. Pick activities that bring you joy. If you pick something and it feels like a chore, it's gonna seem like a chore when you're doing it too, and you're not gonna have as much fun. So pick something fun. If you like to go for for bike rides, if you like to just turn on some music and dance, that's movement too. You just need your body moving in some type of rhythmic fashion. I see a lot of, and I heard you singing. So if y'all in rhythm with singing, y'all can probably dance too. So do something that brings you joy. Do something that is fun for you, and you'll do it a lot longer. And that's the point. We're gonna do these things across a long period of time. And while I'm thinking about it, the definition of success for a health program is maintaining those results for 7 years. That's what I learned in school, and that's what I still use. And so if you can set yourself up with small goals, small realistic goals, and slowly build your way to life-sustaining habits that will help you be healthy over time, that's the right way to go. Versus, I'm going to jump on this fad diet, or do something to get a quick change. That's probably not going to sustain you. All right, that's my soapbox. Getting back off of that. Lastly, you want to make sure you get at least 150 minutes of exercise in a week. So that breaks down to, you can do 5 30-minute sessions in a week. You can do 30 minutes all at one time, but I think it's also even more impactful to break it up over the day. So if you did 3 10-minute sessions, there's actually research studies that show it's better to break up your activity throughout the day versus doing it in one long block of time. I think it's something about having the longer breaks in between activity. Basically, the longer your break in activity, it's not as good or not as better as the having frequent movement throughout the day. So that is that. So these are all the tips. So we went over the 4 pillars of wellness. We discussed lots of different tips, lots of different scenarios, the different red flags. We also went over all the tips for each of the areas. So the areas that can help with sleep, with honoring your hunger cues, with managing your stress, and also getting more activity. If you follow all of these tips here, you're already on a really great track to improve your wellness and improve your health. And this is without even adding food, or not even changing how you eat. Now, if you change how you eat on top of this, your health is just going to take off tremendously while you incorporate these things too.
I have
We'll
a
have to,
question.
yeah.
Okay. You mentioned 150. Did you say minutes? This was the
Yes,
exercise.
minutes.
Is this
Hundred
you said per day or
150 minutes per week. I mean, if you are
per
doing
week?
150 minutes per
Oh,
day, power to you. I'm not even doing that. But if the minimum is 150 minutes a week. And so
okay.
again, walks, you can just dance to some music, gardening. I'm very inclusive of activity. That's why I say joyful movement. If you just find yourself in rhythm, like moving around, that counts as activity because you're moving. So
Okay.
you don't think that you have to be in the gym and it has to be like exercise equipment and ellipticals and treadmills to exercise.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, no problem. I'm having fun. I hope y'all are having fun too with the questions and everything. So now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to get started. Again, God wants us to be people of action. We're not just supposed to sit on it. The first thing that comes to mind is the parable of the talents. And there's 3, one hid theirs and the other put theirs to work. So put it to work. You have the knowledge to go out there and change and improve your health. You can also share this with others. So put it to action. First, investigate what areas in your wellness can be improved. That's the first start. You have to do an assessment. And then figure out which area is the most impacted. Is it your sleep? Is it your hunger cues? Is it stress? Is it lack of physical activity? Because that affects your performance. And once you identify that area, use the tips discussed here to begin to improve your wellness. And so after doing this, you'll be well on your way to improving your health. And also, I'm not sure if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I do have a free wellness quiz that you can take, and it can help you identify which areas are holding you back from reaching that wellness that you deserve. So if you're interested, email me. I have my contact info at the end of this and get that to you. So all of you are in a very good position to take everything you learn, figure out how to implement it in a way that works best for you, and start achieving results on your own. When you're ready to take those next steps to start your health journey, and you're looking to start your health journey for the last time, and you want some help, reach out to me. I can help you figure out the best way for you to start transforming your health and do that for good. Right? My promise, my program, I have the 3 areas. So you'll feel good, or you'll feel better, look better, and perform better. And the way that I achieve that through my program is first with the wellness restoration. And that's what the first part that we covered tonight. So everything that we discussed, all that is in that little box for wellness restoration. After that is nutrition enhancement. So after you raise your wellness score, I call it a wellness score. After you raise your wellness score to the right score, then we start working on your nutrition, and that's when you really start to see the impact of having good nutrition and wellness working together. And that's what helps us not only feel good, but also look good. And then at the end, we have the results maintenance. What good is achieving results if they only last a couple months? And so again, I'm all about long-term success and sustainability. And so I'm not going to be someone's coach forever. So I'm going to coach you up to a certain point, and then you're going to be self-sustainable on your own, because I want to coach myself out of a job eventually, because you just soaked up so much knowledge and you learn so much about yourself. You're more in tune with your body that you're on your own, and you're really taking your health to the next level. You're truly transformed. So that's my program, the 3 phases, and that's how we do it over here at Empowerment Essentials. Thanks for watching. And to show you how serious I am about supporting you in your health transformation, I'm offering you a 50% discount to go towards my nutrition coaching program. This offer is available to you for the next 24 hours. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen and submit your application. It's that easy, and you'll be on your way to transforming your health. The best version of yourself is waiting on you. So apply now and get coaching. I look forward to talking to you soon.